Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Saturday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. I hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope it's beautiful weather where you are, because where I am, it's a beautiful sunny day. And I hope you're experiencing the same. I hope you had a good week, a successful week, a progressive week. And I just hope that's what happened for each and every one of you that are watching this video, and have a positive week upcoming. But if you could please hit that like button and that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps the channel with the algorithm. If you could hit the bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up? How are each and every one of you doing today? Like I said, it's a beautiful day, and I hope you're all out enjoying it and just making the best of the time that we have and trying to live every day in the moment, not in the past, not in the future. Live in the moment. It's the only way to live. Today, though, we're going to talk about cell partners. The most annoying thing about doing time is the fact that you have to deal with cell partners. When you go to provincial jail, you have a cell partner. When you go to federal jail, especially when you're new, unless you're in max, you're going to have a cell partner. And it really affects your day-to-day, especially if you don't get along with that person. Now, me personally, I've always been difficult to live with. I'm high energy. I like things the way that I like them. I like things set up the way that I like it. I like my routine the way that it is. So I never liked, especially in the pen, having a cell partner that liked to watch TV, that was constantly in the cell, because I liked to be in there and have quiet, be able to smoke my spliff once I came up from yard and just chill and not have somebody running in and out. I was very strict with these policies. You want to move into my cell? These are the rules. And that's just how I did time. Now, in provincial, it's a little bit more difficult, you know. You're not always able to choose who's coming into your cell. And even if you do have somebody you want to move into your cell, sometimes the coppers are just going to be pricks and they're not going to allow you to do that, even though it would put you in the best situation for success and non-confrontation. But let's be honest, they act like the goal is for no violence, no fighting, no confrontation, but then they directly do things that fly in the face of that. So clearly, we know what they like to see. It's like a zoo. We know that. Like sometimes you'll be doing time, and all of a sudden a group of people come in and they're staring at you through the windows like it's literally a zoo. Doesn't make you feel good, but you just go crazy. Ah! Ah! Make them think that you truly are mad and that this prison isn't helping anybody, because it's not. Now, it doesn't mean that prison, being taken away from whatever destructive life you're living in the outside, isn't going to save your life. But it's not prison that's doing it. It's the fact that you're taken away from your vices, that is. Because let's be real, if you weren't in prison, you'd be doing the same thing, right? But for me, the fact that I went to prison and I was forced into sobriety, and I saw what it was like to actually have a clear train of thought and not be thinking constantly about doing drugs, it reminded me that, oh yeah, this is a good way to live, where you're not constantly worried about your addiction, grabbing, how you're going to finesse people out of money. What are you going to do to score? It's a horrible life, whether you're on the inside or out. But cell partners, because that's the topic of this conversation. I've had many bad cell partners in my time. I have a few specifically. I had this one dude that called himself Triple B. The Big Black Bayesian. That was his nickname. He was a kid. He was clearly Indian and not black. And just his attitude and demeanor just drove me crazy. This was in the point of my bullying mode. This is when I was at, early 20s, at the height of my criminal life. No real interest at turning things around, and they put this kid in my cell. I tried to bounce him out of my cell 100 times. The coppers at Lindsay hated me, wanted to make my life as miserable as possible, and wanted me to have to go to SEG for fighting, so they left him in there despite the fact that they knew it was a bad idea. So what would I do? I would bully his ass. And it's savage and it's mean, but that's what I did. And this is prison, guys. This is what can happen when you land in somebody's living space and fuck it up. Sometimes people just have a sense of entitlement. They feel that because they're in the living space now, it's half theirs, and they're able to do as much crap as you are in that cell. And that's just not a fact, especially if one person's been in there for a long time, one person's just moving in. You gotta watch where you're stepping. You gotta respect people's boundaries. And you definitely are not gonna walk in there and act like you own the place, because you're gonna get smashed, you're gonna get cut, you're gonna get bounced. Whatever it is that'll happen to you will happen. Because whether it's a cell or not, well, somebody's there. That is where they live. That is their home. They set it up the way they want it, and it is the one place in a jail or a prison that you're going to have any level of comfort or stress, no stress. Provincial, the problem is that there's no TV, right? There's nothing for you to do. So having a cell partner a lot of the time is necessary, and you look forward to it. Sure, there'll be stretches where you're happy to not have a cell partner. Say your cell partner gets out or whatever, you have a week or 2 weeks in between where there's nobody in your cell. You're going to enjoy that time, but sooner or later, you're going to start bugging out, being in there looking at those four walls. You're going to want to have somebody in there that you can bring in and do shit with. Play cards, work out, somebody with common interests, whether they smoke cigarettes, they smoke weed, whatever it is that you do. Now you have two heads thinking together, two people hustling together, two people making brews together, two people collecting food and jug up and canteen together, whatever it is. And not to mention, you have a cell partner that hopefully you can rely on to somewhat have your back. And in some places, man, it kind of just seems like that's an unwritten rule. Like, if me and you live together and we're cool, and somebody messes with you out on the block, it's I'm kind of obligated to defend you on some level. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go start stabbing people for you. It just means that if I'm bringing you into my space, if I'm spending this much time and talking about the things that you talk about, because when you're in a cell with people, man, you're talking about your life, you're talking about personal things, and you don't want to do that with somebody who's a true waste guy, right? A waste man, somebody who's just gonna listen. I'll tell you a story about a bad cell partner. So I was on 4Pod in Lindsay, like back in the day, and my homie was on the block, and one day we're sitting there and we're playing bridge. And this dude had just come from Seg. He had been there for a couple days. Everybody kind of knew the guy. He was a little bit of a well-known guy out in Durham and Oshawa. But nobody really truly knew him deep down and personally. They just known him from doing times, and he had a reputation of being a decent dude. So one day he's walking around the block and he's showing pictures of his girl. He's bragging to everybody, check out this girl, check out this girl I got, check out this girl I got, check out this girl I got. Turns out though, I take one of these pictures because the girl looked good. So I walk over to the guy and I'm like, bro, check out this picture to my homeboy. He goes, bro, where did you get this? I go, what do you mean? He goes, bro, this is my fucking girl. This is one of my pictures that went missing from Seg. So this kid was in Seg with the dude, and when he was leaving, I guess got access to the guy's locker and took his pictures. Now that's not a direct cell partnership, but they were in Seg together. They're from the same city, and this guy feels comfortable running around showing people pictures of other people's girls. It's crazy. And as soon as my homeboy said, yo, this is my girl, the dude's banging on the window. Boom, boom, boom. Feds, I gotta get out of here, because he knows he's gonna get cooked. But the big black Bayesian, what did I do? I used to drag him off the bed and just beat him. Boom, 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 boom. I just pull him off his bed at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of his sleep because of his snoring. It would drive me mental. And I just couldn't stand him. Something about him I just couldn't stand. And I couldn't help but bully him. I just couldn't. And I remember one day he's out on the block. He's all bruised up. And this guy walks up. He's like, yo, what's up, bro? He's like, and the guy goes, bro, what's wrong? And he goes, honestly, my cell partner beats me. He tells the block, my cell partner beats me. I was that cell partner. I was a pen timer. Guys came to the block and said to me, bro, you can't be beating up the youth. He's a kid, brother. You're a pen timer. You're supposed to have restraint in these situations. Like, come on, dog. And I was like, move him out of my cell, man. Get him out of there. I can't live with him. And as long as I live with him, this is going to happen. And they ended up moving him out of the cell. I had another cell partner. This kid comes in off the street, this tall, lanky kid, Kurt Cobain hair, this giant gonzo schnoz. It was hard to even breathe in the cell with him because all the oxygen it took to funnel into these nostrils. And I can't remember exactly what had happened, but I've been kind of bullying him for his food, right? Because he decided that he didn't want to get up to get his food. He had come in off meth. He just wanted to sleep. And he just expected me to collect his food, his jug ups, and all this stuff without ever once having a conversation with me. So I collected it and I ate it. It's not my responsibility to make sure your food gets collected and hold it, preserve it, wrap it all up, take it out of the trays, and do all that for you just so you can sleep when I've never had a fucking conversation with you in my entire life. And honestly, if you would have just had the conversation with me and there wasn't this expectation that I was going to do this for you, I probably would have done it. But what happens? I tell him, get the fuck out of the cell, bounce out of the cell. I don't want you in there. The guy goes down to the guard, doesn't say I want to move out of the cell because I want to go to this cell or this cell so I can go live with this guy. Tells the copper, my cell partner wants me out of the cell. And I hear this. So I say, no, don't worry. Just come back to the cell. Forward, back to the cell. The kid foolishly comes back to the cell. Now, he wasn't a little kid, but he was clearly not a criminal, because when I started swinging on him, he jumped up into the top bunk, he balled himself up in the corner, and if I even put my hands on him, would start screaming. All the range, the cleaners, everybody can hear him. The cleaners come running up to the cell. They're watching. They can see. I'm barely touching the dude, bro. Barely touching him like death was. Whoosh, whoosh. And he's like screaming. And I don't know what people expect, brother, but when you go to prison, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Nobody's going to switch up the way they're living for you. And if you come in and mess up the energy, it's going to choke people. People are going to get frustrated, and they're going to take that frustration out on the person in their cell. Specifically, if that person is the one causing the noise and the problems and the issues. Now, you can also have issues with cellies that you're homies with. I've had many cell partners in my years. They move into my cell because they're my homeboy, and within 2 weeks, we can't stand each other because living with somebody is different than being cool with somebody. Spending all that time in one small cramped space with somebody, learning what they're thinking, their personality, their character, sometimes you can realize, this person's a fucking goof. Straight up. And sometimes you're going to want to get that dude out of there, even though you moved that dude in there. And that's just a fact. Now, I had one cell partner I really liked. I thought was a super cool dude. But he snored like... right? So I remember trying to deal with it, trying to use earplugs and just trying to cope because I actually liked the dude. And I remember certain nights being so angry and standing over him, hovering over him, plotting serious violence. I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with a bad snore when you can't get out and you can't sleep. But it's crazy. And it always happens to be the case that these crazy snores never want to wake up. They sleep like the dead. So sometimes you feel like making them dead. It just is what it is. You're not going to do it. You just feel like doing it. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you guys don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my finger, nobody goes back to prison. Nobody's addicted to drugs. Nobody has to deal with a cell partner. That's what I do. But that's not a reality, especially in 2022. It's tough out here. Ribs is touching. And sometimes we do things that can land us into certain behaviors that can land us into addiction, trouble, prison, time, death, whatever it is, the shitty boat that we land in. And hopefully my videos will help inspire people to change altogether, give people an expectation of what to expect when they go in prison, and make it so that when they do go in, they have a little bit of an understanding of how to behave so they don't mess everything up for people in there. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all of my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. So, cell partner, cell partner, cell partner. Some people are clean, some people are messy. They typically don't go together. Some people can sleep through anything, some people can't. They typically aren't going to want to live together. If you can't handle snoring, I could never handle somebody who chews with their mouth open, eats like a fucking camel. I can't stand it. Makes me want to fight people. I would not be cell partners with somebody like that. Now, the reality is, when you move in with somebody into a 6x8 or a 8x10 or whatever the size of the cell is, you are spending 16 plus hours a day locked down with this human being. Now, this human being may be a great person, but have a whole lot of behaviors and small little things that he does that drive you crazy. So you're going to go through cell partners. You're going to have cell partners that you hate. I'm telling you, the most important thing to do, just chill, figure it out. There's ways to change that up. Don't let yourself snap. Don't get into the bullying crap because it's just going to make your time worse. I never did easy time up until like my last bit. I was always constantly in seg, constantly in trouble. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go through that. So just chill. But understand that people have personalities and people have behaviors that you're just not going to like. And over time, you're going to go through cell partner after cell partner after cell partner, especially if you're doing a substantial bit. It's just part of doing time. So what does that say? Don't do time. It's not worth it. You don't want to live with somebody in an 8x10 or a 6x8 for years, cramped up in the cell, smelling somebody's BO, living with their messiness, their dirtiness, whatever it is they do, their camel chewing, their snoring, their snot rocketing, their whatever it is that they do. Just stay home, live your life, make the best of it, and be the best that you can be. Love each and every one of you.